Playboi Carti was born Jordan Terrell Carter on September the 13th, 1995 in the metro Atlanta region of Georgia, with Carti telling Fader that his father was originally from the mean streets of Chicago.
My dad from Chicago, you know what I'm saying, he's from the hood, so. Despite
having family ties to the capital city for American gang violence that birthed drill music, Carti would introduce himself on the come-up as a South Atlanta native.
Same bro. From South Atlanta, Riverdale, man, really is not too much you can explain. It's more like a place you just gotta get out of. I did that, lived 15 years in Riverdale, did the rest in Fair and Flatbed, yo. I had to get out.
Raised by his hardworking single mother in South Metro Atlanta's suburbs of Riverdale and Fairburn. It seems like he grew up in a fairly supportive household that fostered independence, but like many kids, it seemed that he ended up abusing the trust that his mother had offered him, revealing to Complex that when he was younger, no one could tell him anything and that he was a wild kid, occasionally getting into so much trouble that it would literally bring his mother to tears. Carti attended Bear Creek Middle School in Fairburn, and then the Creekside High, located next to Bear Creek, before later enrolling in North Springs Charter High School, a magnet school drawing students all across Fulton County. He was heavily involved in sports when he was younger. Speaking with Fader, he revealed that basketball initially consumed his ambitions.
To be a hoop star, I had hoop dreams. I was young AI and then go to practice. That was the time when I was really ducking, scoring. It was really hoop life with no rap. I was really on the court balling, really balling, been balling. I was just doing other just smoke before I go to practice again on the court. Drop 30 on crazy, had the city going wild.
Carti credited basketball for keeping him out of trouble as a kid, and even back in 2010, he would tweet with excitement about potentially making the varsity basketball team. And according to his Max Preps profile, he would indeed make the varsity team 2 years later, only for his hoop dreams to get shattered in his very first game in a brutal loss against Sequoia. The Reddit lore from a user who claimed to have attended that game explained that Carti had started the game hot, knocking down a 3 and then a layup on the fast break. But after the layup, he would take a horrific land on his ankle, this all happening within the first 90 seconds of the game. After arguing with his coach, Carti would rage quit basketball and redirect his energy into rapping. Carti had been making music as early as 2009 at age 14, freestyling in his school's studio with his friends. He kept his tracks secret until his classmates stumbled upon them, giving him the validation boost he needed to take music seriously. By the next year in 2010, the 15-year-old Carti was going by the name JC, announcing his upcoming aviation class mixtape via Twitter in September. A mixtape that Carti wouldn't drop, only releasing a couple of singles months later, these being Max Appeal and Undead Memory. By April 2011, he would rebrand as Sir Cartier, blending his surname Carter with the luxury brand Cartier, also tweeting about his main interests as a 15-year-old being basketball, skating, music, going out, and of course lean and Tylenol. I guess some things never change. His Tumblr was a tribute to his teenage interests, particularly drugs, basketball, and skate culture, as well as posting many of his favorite artists at the time, like Currency, Mac Miller, and Wiz Khalifa. Carti later told XXL that Currency actually used to be his favorite rapper, even paying homage to him by using a $ in his rap name at the time, Cash Cartier, and naming the Louisiana rapper alongside Gucci Mane and Wiz Khalifa as his favorite rappers on Twitter in 2012. Carti credited his older brother Reggie for putting him onto Gucci Mane and other Atlanta artists at the time, and he also posts about other artists that inspired him like Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Lil B, the Raider Clan including their main member Space Ghost Perp, Krayshawn, Tyler the Creator and his Odd Future Collective, and MF Doom, showing that Carti was clearly a big fan of the underground rap scene in the early 2010s. He would also name the rap legends Jay-Z, Tupac, Biggie and Nas as his other rappers that he grew up listening to XXL. Carti had a diverse range of influences, from the creative oddballs of rap, the commercial kings of lyricism, and the street and trap gods who told tales of the hood. Carti also had an early interest in fashion, tweeting during a summer holiday of 2011 that he had a new style and he couldn't wait to go to school so that people can hate on him. He also showcased his fashion interests on Tumblr, showing off fitted caps, Supreme, Vans, and Jordans. YouTuber and former classmate Aristotle would speak on Carti's swag in high school.
Aristotle, how was the GOAT Carti back in high school? Back in school, swag, I ain't no hair, I'll be honest. To me, he was probably the best dresser. Consistently from 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
In April of 2011, Carti took to social media to announce his next mixtape alongside some cover art. Although the mixtape titled Killing Me Softly also never got released, it morphed into a future project instead. A few months later in July, a baby-faced Carti dropped his debut music video, Cry. Recorded in the summer after freshman year by the 15-year-old Sir Cartier, Currency's influence was evident in the sonics of the song, with Carti rapping in his natural baby voice. A young Uno the activist also made an appearance in the video. Carti and Uno would go on to come up in the scene together. At the time, they were like brothers until an activist of betrayal would ultimately shatter their bond. Carti's first video went on to gain over 700 views in its first month. Small successes for a new rapper, and he wasn't ready to slow down. He followed this with the release of Room for the Ladies just days later, and a full mixtape by the end of 2011 called THC, The High Chronicle. Next, Carti dropped Steez, a track blending Odd Future's rebellious energy with Currency's laid-back flow in a lo-fi video that was showcasing growth from his prior tracks and videos. Originally teased as a single from a project titled Cream, Carti was teasing fake albums from the very start, and predictably, Cream was also ultimately scrapped, and Carti pivoted to his sophomore mixtape, Young Misfit. Young Misfit featured a dark, experimental sound with a horror aesthetic, and Carti later admitted that his music at the time was made purely for his friends and not for fame. While attending North Springs Charter High School in 2013, Carti began frequenting parties hosted by Atlanta rapper Key, aka Fat Man Key. Key became Carti's mentor, describing Carti as quiet but observant to GQ. The parties had Carti rubbing elbows with other Atlanta artists, but most importantly, he met the producer Ethereal and other members from the Atlanta-based rap group and future music label Awful Records. In March 2013, Carti dropped the Young Lean-esque track Out Here. This was meant to be part of another scrapped project called Sensation, a 9-track project that was later recreated through leaks. Interestingly though, in a 2014 interview, Carti explained why he hadn't released a full project yet, hinting towards the gang war in his city and saying that he's in the streets and rap comes secondary to that.
So you still haven't released a full project or a collection of songs. Do you plan on doing that anytime soon?
I mean, like, really, I don't understand what the fuck we got going on. We're really out here. Rap shit is sick. Can't really get too deep with that shit because I can't know all that shit. This rap shit is sick. I'm trying to tell you. She's sick, Carti.
It would actually be 5 years before Carti would finally open up about his ties to the Blood Gang in Atlanta, but at this time in his career, he was still keeping tight-lipped about his gang ties and wanted to focus the conversation to his fashion sense. In the same interview, Carti was asked about his fashion sense, making him be seen as weird, suggesting that Atlanta fashion is more focused on future trends rather than what's popping right now.
You're always viewed as a weird kid in the South Side. I know compared to your Atlanta style, it's always been a little more in tune with the future versus what everyone is on today. You were talking about Bape and shit on your first tracks, and now all the cool kids in Atlanta I talked about are decked in Bape.
Oh yeah, I mean, shit, we been there, bro. Like, I mean, that's what we came up on, you feel me? Like, a lot of that, like, new shit, was just jocking the old shit.
From here, Carti grew close with Father, the head of the Awful Records crew, and he began prioritizing studio sessions over school. At the start of 2014, he dropped a Young Xan, a Xanax-themed love song that sampled the PS2 startup sound, a niche viral moment for fans of noughties gaming nostalgia. And he would follow that up with a series of songs, including Heavy, Holyfield, Talk, Lost, and I Got Depressed. After graduating North Springs High School in mid-2014, Carti dove fully into performing, popping up with early shows in venues like Pier 1 Bar and Grill in Atlanta, as well as house parties that were apparently so wild that they would make the floors buckle. This was long before Carti withdrew from the limelight and began building his mysterious and moody persona. In a rare Awful Records vlog, a zanned-up Carti jokes around about the need for hella hoes and drugs at their performances.
I was like, he mad because the time bomb style is on. Hey, just interrupt his lane and like this kid is he bad as yeah, he wanted to beat my ass. He couldn't do
Hello.
hello. We gotta have dope and a bunch of all the drugs. I'm talking about every yo, for real, it's gonna happen.
A far cry from his later vampiric mystique, commenters on the video genuinely said, "I ain't ever heard Carti laugh like that." Others asked why and when the laughter had to end. But from here, Carti seemed to be enjoying his new life as a budding rap rookie, and he continued to drop his early music with the help of Awful Records. Tracks like By Myself or No Help, and Smash, which blended punk aggression with trap elements, a teaser of his signature punk rock inspired rage music that would later become his calling card. And going into 2015, he had another track called Mercedes. Carti would also go on tour with Awful Records, who were apparently helping him find his niche and build up his initial audience of Zan-gobbling street fashionistas. He was traveling all over North America with Awful Records, who would vlog his every move and document his growth as an artist and performer, as well as some hilarious behind the scenes moments.
Hey, they know what's up. They know what's up. Catch Carti in the hall. Make some noise, Sacramento, man. What's up?
He ain't gonna hit him. He ain't gonna swing.
There's another there. Who's this other?
Yo, I'm putting $10 on the guy to go.
Is that Carti?
What the hell?
Get the fuck out of here, bruh.
Carti is a dumb.
Out of here.
Why?
He would appear in a Toronto tour vlog at the end of 2015, explaining that he became the hottest rapper in Atlanta while still working at H&M and still being in school, and that he was tired of being recognized at his job.
I was bagging groceries. Bro, I tried to get a job. I went from bagging groceries to working at this place called H&M. But look, in Atlanta, that first popped off, I was the hottest at that because I was still in school, bro. Look, I'm still in school working at H&M. But anyway, I'm like this. I picked up some Xanax before I came. I'm like, what the like, I don't want to work here no more. Coming to the job, princess, look, like this. Like, yo, you Carti? Yeah, bro, that song you got fire. How long you been working here? That don't sound right, bro. I'm like, man, I'm about to quit.
It seemed that seeing more of the continent opened his eyes to how limiting the Atlanta scene was, convincing him it was time to spread his wings and go further. So he moved to Brooklyn in New York, where he had family ties. His mentor Key told GQ that Carti had outgrown Atlanta, and it was necessary for Carti to get out of his hometown to broaden his horizons and find himself. Once he got to New York, he locked in with fashionistas Ian Connor and A$AP Bari before being introduced to A$AP Rocky himself at a South by Southwest house party. Carti would even be spotted in a Maxo Cream music video shot at the party, visible in the back trying to talk to Rocky. Apparently Rocky had massively inspired Carti, and the lifestyle that he was experiencing at the New York house parties made him realize that this was the life he truly wanted. Carti had crossed paths with Ian Connor in Atlanta all the way back in 2011. A youth culture and fashion icon in the rise, Ian Connor's resume included styling A$AP Rocky as his creative director and shaping looks for the likes of Wiz Khalifa and Kylie Jenner. And Connor began introducing Carti's music to his own fan base and leveraging his own connections to book Carti shows, such as one of Carti's first LA shows that even included an appearance from Post Malone. In April, Carti released the Mexico Dro produced track Broke Boy. The song exploded, and its video featured a meme-worthy sloppy toppy scene. The track would hit over 1 million views in a year, and it was Carti's first breakout hit that solidified his place in the Atlanta underground rap scene. Ironically, released during a time when he was broke and supported by fellow Awful Records members, through 2015, Carti was getting opportunities to rap along future greats of the game, dropping Fetty with South Texas rapper Maxo Cream and New Jersey's Dash, and he would rub shoulders with the likes of Lil Uzi Vert at a Post Malone show, a meeting that would birth future hit records, and releasing his first collaboration with Atlanta legends 21 Savage and the then incarcerated Gucci Mane called Peepin'. But despite all the support Awful Records gave him during this broke era, Carti wouldn't appear to have much loyalty to his crew, as Carti eventually joined A$AP Rocky's Org label, announcing it on stage at a live performance.
Shout out to my whole gang. A$AP in this going. I just signed the A$AP Rocky, man. Make some noise, man. We laying this. Yeah. Shout out to my bro Ian Connor. The whole A$AP ball. Rest in peace, films. All gang. Space goes per.
Awful Records' father later explained that he had initially planned to sign Carti officially, but Ian Connor found out and intercepted, getting wind of the impending deal and quickly flying Carti to New York to ink a deal with A$AP instead. In a 2016 interview with a Japanese reporter, Carti claimed that he was never officially part of Awful Records, only A$AP.
You got like the sign the father first, right? Father and then...
I was never Awful Records. I was never Awful Records. Shout out.
Never been Awful Records?
I was never Awful Records. It's A$AP Mob. Yeah, that is what it is.
Okay, tell me. Okay. I'm gonna tell me the truth. Okay, tell me the truth. Like, you never signed.
I was never signed to Awful, man. It's lit. I've always been me by myself, and I fought with Awful on me. You know what I'm saying? But I was never signed to no. I always wanted to be a boss. I made myself a boss. So father know that. So it's lit. A$AP Mob, all gang, he dead.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know
Cash.
But whether or not he did right by the original crew that helped him get on is up for debate. But the fact is, Carti was making the bigger move for his career and aligning himself with the hottest people in rap and fashion. A day after signing the deal, Ian Connor teased a Carti and Frank Ocean collab. And from here, Carti also started booking his first international shows, later being seen at Paris Fashion Week for the first time. In November 2015, he featured on Rich the Kid's song Plug alongside Kodak Black, which racked up 4 million views in 4 months, and finishing off the year with his first collaboration with Lil Yachty, Run It. This was a time when Carti was still priding himself on being relatable, explaining during a December vlog filmed in Toronto that he's a normal dude, suggesting that people look at him and say that Carti reminds him of themselves.
One of these lanes, like you're not no normal lane. I'm a normal. I'm in. Look. I'm a normal, but I'm that you see on YouTube. You be like, damn, that Carti remind me just like of myself. That's why you I'm like, bro, we came from there. We're supposed to be here, bro.
It's interesting as at this point a more humble Carti was taking over the rap game and enjoying the limelight, years before he would switch up and move into his more mysterious era. This would ultimately be a gradual process of evolution, but already in 2016, people began noticing the change in Carti. During a Triple S Entertainment interview, Ian would explain that Carti had to cut some people off in Atlanta to succeed, and Carti revealed that people are saying that he has changed.
So, Carti, for him to take care of his young that's come up under him, he gotta do it by himself. He gotta cut them off like his in Atlanta. Like, Carti, you moving funny, you acting like this. That changed. He gotta do it. He had to come here to make sure that he could go out to Atlanta and build a fucking house so they can live it. You feel me?
In response to people saying that he changed up, Carti fired back, saying that those people just don't have any vision.
Like, damn, man, like, you didn't even tell me right. Like, you know, what else, you know what I'm saying? It's not even that. It's just be like, you'll be with them, you think you be on some shit. But you run into a like this, and you be like, yo, what the fuck is you on, bro? And then you get that vision, and you be like, damn, what the fuck was I doing?
This was probably a reference to Carti separating himself from his Atlanta peers musically, as well as moving further away from the gangs and violence that had been going on around him whilst he was growing up. But Carti was truly taking off in a big way, over 2016, collaborating and touring with Lil Uzi Vert, and even without releasing a major project under ASAP's label, by September, he caught the attention of the industry and managed to sign a major record deal with Interscope Records. With the support of a major label, Carti would cook up his first full-length release, and it ended up being a legendary project. On April the 14th, 2017, Playboi Carti's self-titled mixtape finally dropped, and despite sharing a release date with Kendrick Lamar's Damn, Carti carved out his own lane, debuting at number 12 on the album's charts and moving around 28,000 units in its first week. The standout song was Magnolia, an incredibly hypnotic hit that you just had to reload, something I did many times, with the track being personally my third most played song of 2017. And Carti's first official single was a chart success too, hitting number 29 on Billboard and racking up 15 million views on YouTube in a month, today sitting over 210 million views. Another hit from the tape was Woke Up Like This featuring Lil Uzi Vert that charted at 76. The project was critically acclaimed and fans and reviewers praised it for its futuristic simplicity with addictive beats. Carti's debut mixtape was hailed as one of the best albums of 2017. The Home Run mixtape landed him on XXL's freshman class cover of 2017, where Carti interestingly opened his freestyle section by rapping about his Blood Gang affiliation. Fresh off being a XXL freshman, Carti even performed Magnolia on the Jimmy Kimmel Show live in Los Angeles, with an energetic performance that even had the DJ rapping along with Carti. At the height of his budding new fame in September, he would take to Twitter to announce a mixtape with Lil Uzi Vert, later revealing the title to be 1629, a mixtape named after their old hoods. Fans hyped it up, only for the album to vanish into the vampire vault of teased yet unreleased Carti projects. For Carti, revealing albums and perhaps not releasing them was its own marketing strategy. But by the end of 2017, Carti would announce that he was truly locked into album mode, and the stage was set for 2018 to be his true metamorphosis. In May 2018, Carti released Love Hurts through SoundCloud, the lead single to his upcoming debut album Die Lit, which dropped just over a week later on May the 11th, with an album cover that paid homage to the British punk band Charged GBH. Carti was truly evolving the sound of Atlanta trap, sonically merging Atlanta rap culture with punk rock and futuristic synthesized production and auto-tuned vocals. He was pushing the boundaries and making something incredibly unique, and fans would love it. It debuted at number 3 on Billboard with 61,000 units sold in its first week, and Die Lit also charted in 8 other countries. Standout tracks included Shooter featuring Lil Uzi Vert that peaked at number 46, with the thugged out lyrics about the gang activity in Carti's hood once again going over many people's heads. Die Lit would even make leading YouTube music critic Anthony Fantano shift his opinion on Carti from mind-numbing to mind-altering.
Really struggling to hear anything special about what this guy has to offer, and it's just so purely mindless that it's mind-numbing just to listen to it.
Well, I think there's a lot of creativity here. It's a pretty one-of-a-kind project, at least right now, until maybe dozens of other artists copy exactly what Die Lit is doing. But there is an especially intoxicating, catchy, and almost mind-altering quality to the simplicity of some of these tracks that I just can't get enough of.
Die Lit received rave reviews, but most importantly, fans gushed over the music, claiming that it was trap music done to perfection with the power to get paralyzed grandmothers out of their wheelchairs. Others called it the greatest trap album of the decade, suggesting that the album was so good it made them want to give birth. With Die Lit, Carti had truly solidified himself as one of the most hyped up rappers of the late 2010s, who had played a major role in shaping up the genre with his unique rapping style and beat choices. But while Carti had made some references to his connections to the gritty, gang-fueled underworld of Atlanta throughout his career, but not much known was about his actual connections to the streets at this point. So next, let's take a closer look at how Carti transformed from a trend-setting cloud rapper who was more interested in women, drugs, and fashion than gangbanging to somebody who in 2022 was listed in a recent law enforcement report as the main face of one of Atlanta's most notorious gangs.